Hey guys, Mr. C. Happy Friday. What's going on? All right. Just as always, my response video to your discussion questions, which for like the third week in a row have just been fantastic. Um, you guys come up with things that are completely something that I would have never thought of, and that's partially, that's part of the reason why I like reading them so much. Um, you know, your thought questions end up being pretty similar, because you're using the same article, to answer the questions. But these are so different. So let me just go through and I'll just respond to a few of them. I got a lot for phones, and the one thing that I think is kind of funny is that when you guys say phones, you mean like cell phones. When I think of phones, I think of cell phones, but I also think of like the thing that's like in your house that has a cord attached to it that you can only talk on. So Jaden, yeah, good point. M- Messages and information travels quicker. Um, after many people got phones, would be wires all over town. That's still kind of true now, but for electricity. Um, yeah, I mean, so she kind of touches on the fact that like the phones that were existed 25, 30 years ago are different from the phones now. um Phone bills and data and wi-fi and the price of the phone were way different. Even my first cell phone didn't have internet capability on it. You guys would laugh if you saw my first cell phone. I still have it somewhere. And she brings up a good point too. So like the downside is, there pretty much any cell phone is in between like 80 and $100 a week to own, or a month to own. And so that is a cost that just didn't exist a bunch of years ago. So upsides, information travels quicker. You have the answer to literally anything in your pocket. Downsides, the money. I think that a lot of the discussions that we've had in this class, it's yes, this technology is good, but who's going to pay for it? Or it's a lot of money. And when we the cost of oil thought question a couple weeks ago, the paging Dr. Robot question this week, the Easter Island question last week, it's all like, yeah, this is great, but it's expensive. There's always that two sides. Cars, upside, people can travel places quicker. Um, a comedian a bunch of years ago told a joke like during like the frontier days, if you went from New York to California, by the time you get to California, it would be a whole new bunch of people because it would take so long. Um, he brings up a good point. So they're pollutants, from cars, but as the coronavirus pandemic going on right now, some cities have been better off since cars aren't really used anymore. This is a really interesting thing, and there's always a silver lining in everything. Granted, the pandemic is terrible, but nature is kind of resetting itself, and it only takes like, we've been doing this for 6 weeks, and already there's less air pollution. Animals are returning, and so there is hope for the future for the planet. I think. Um, I hope that when this is all over, we return to like maybe a green set of technology instead. But Hayden, good point with cars. Liam, the path spot, which I think we did a thought question on earlier in the year, which is like a scanner that scans germs underneath someone's hands. This could be a game changer. I think that when this pandemic is all over, there's going to be some things put in place to basically prove that you're not sick, or prove that you're not, excuse me, carrying a virus or something. So this is pretty clever. I would have never thought of this in a million years. Um, so I think I think we did a thought question on this. Um, I'd have to check though. So that's cool. Airplane. 100%. You'd have to take a boat everywhere um, if you didn't have airplanes. This makes travel a heck of a lot easier. And they go so much faster than buses and cars and trains and boats and everything. Airplanes are very expensive, and they're also pollutants. They're big polluters. Between the airline industry and the cars and like the cruise industry, a lot of polluting companies right there. Electricity, of course. this is, I mean, we need this for everything. And Enright in the next, um, his next discussion brings that up as well. Um, Electricity, depending on where the electricity comes from, it could have its disadvantages. If you have solar panels on your house or a windmill or something, that's not going to be problematic whatsoever. Um, she brings up light pollution too, which is not like a pollution that can make you sick, but you can't see the stars or anything. Like, if you guys have ever gone to the Adirondack Mountains or have been in a very rural area, my dog is barking upstairs. It's probably a squirrel or something in the backyard. Anyway, if you've ever been up there, the stars are much more vivid. They're just kind of diluted right now because of light pollution. So, Josie, really good point there. The PC, the personal computer. The name personal computer, I think, comes from the fact that, like, a lot of people use computers at work in like the 80s and early 90s, but the personal computer was a computer that you would have in your house. Um, I remember getting, like, my parents getting our first computer, and it was maybe 1,000 times less powerful than like my cell phone is right now, maybe even more. Um, he makes a really good point here. So fast forward to March 2020, when our country shut down because of COVID-19. Personal computers, along with the internet, allowed children to continue to go to school virtually. This has really been a game changer. I was talking to my neighbor yesterday or a couple days ago. He is a musician and he plays in a band. And now, instead of playing with the band live, he records his part, uploads it to the internet, and someone mixes all of the band's parts together and they make songs. This kind of begs the question, if this lockdown happened in 1998, a lot of things would be really different. School would look a lot different. You guys would be doing packets and stuff. Um, Disadvantage on technology is reliance on electricity. Yeah, if the electrical grid goes out, once those batteries die on your phones, there's not going to be anything. So we're on a knife edge with that. If one thing goes down, we don't have the internet anymore. So really good point on that. I love how you guys take your invention and you connect it to what's happening now. I just cannot explain how much I like these. Camera. Totally. Yeah. Important invention because you use it for many things. Crime scene. Um, Cameras are, ubiquitous now in the sense that everyone has one in their pocket. Cameras can capture events like on your wedding day. Don't even get me started on how much my wedding photos cost. Everybody took photos on their phone, and I had to pay some guy like so much money. It's ridiculous. Um, the cool thing is too about cameras is that there's probably, my parents will show me like pictures when I was a little kid once in a while, but like you guys probably have a picture of you every day for your entire life. Like that's something that's totally new. The compass, so connecting not to what's happening now, but to social studies in general. Knowing what direction someone is going. Before that, you'd have to navigate by the stars. The compass, and I'm blanking on the invention's name right now, but the compass tells you direction. Um, in order to fully navigate the world, you need to know direction that you're going and the latitude that you're at. So, the compass, in conjunction with that other invention, helps sailors from all over the world. Um, cool. Super Decker helps hockey. I don't know about this. Stick handling, passing, reaction time. This machine works by having a magnetic puck, and when the player's stick handles over a red light that is shown on the ice, it makes a deep beep sound and you get 1 point. Oh, so this is just a way to refine your stick skills. Cool. I've never heard of this before. This is fantastic. Yeah, that little tiny inventions like that, make people better athletes, but also it's frustrating because your dad, like Cal, your dad's been a hockey player for his entire life, and he probably goes, "Gee, why did I invent that?" Cool. Vaccines, Emma, 100%. I can't believe we even have the conversation about vaccines being harmful. Josie did her Teach the Class Something project way back in September, which seems like 8,000 years ago now. Um, Vaccines make life livable. Vaccines make preventable diseases go away. It's very simple. Um, 332,000 people a year are saved by vaccines. Polio, tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, measles, mumps. These are all viruses, okay? And so vaccines give your body the antibodies it needs to fight off viruses, okay? So polio was something that was very dangerous in the 1920s, and it was caused like paralysis. And someone came up with a vaccine for polio, and he gave it out for free, and everyone got it, and no one had polio anymore. Um, in your paging Dr. Robot question, there was a thing called clinical trials. I commented on Hayden privately about this, but clinical trials are what's going on now. So any medicine that you guys take, whether it's a prescription or something you would just go to the store and buy, you don't need a prescription for, it had to be basically tested to make sure that it's safe. So when people say, "Oh, it's going to be 18 months to 2 years for a coronavirus vaccine," it's not because the technology, it's not because it takes that long to make the vaccine. It takes that long to make sure the vaccine is safe. It doesn't have any short-term or long-term side effects. Um, yeah, there's a lot of talk now about not getting vaccinated, and it's just silliness to me. I mean, it's just totally preventable. My daughter just yesterday got a vaccine for hepatitis A, okay, which is a disease that could really make you very, very, very ill, and now she never has to worry about it. It's pretty simple. Nice job, Emma. You said you were talking. Are you acting British? And I was checking your comment to make sure that you didn't spell anything the American way instead of a British way, like Clour instead of Clo. Wait, I can't. Whatever. Color with a U is what I'm trying to say. Um, Color. I don't know why I blanked on that. Airplane again. Traveling faster. Say it's Paige. You're saying it's not the safest travel. 257 plane crashes in 2019. Um, there are statistics out there that say that traveling by plane is safer than car. I think in 2018 there wasn't a single death caused by air travel. I think that's the case. But anyway, plane is the case. Cars, absolutely. Instead of riding a bike, you could take your car. I don't know about that. I like my bike. Um, the one thing is that they're big polluters. Governor Andrew Cuomo was talking about downstate and using subways and stuff. So cars are great. We need cars where we live because without a car, you'd have to stores and everything are far away. But definitely a game changer. Phones again. If you're kidnapped, you could you could message your friend or call 911. That's a little extreme, but okay. Yeah, I remember you could text or call your parents to pick you up from school or anywhere. I remember when the schools had like pay phones and you needed like a quarter to call somebody. Battery can go down very fast. If your phone is dead, you have nothing to do. Oh no, being bored, but terrible. So yeah, phones are the helps information spread faster. Um, the one thing you said you bring up is that if you get lost, you can message someone. Like I don't think I would be able to navigate in my car without Google Maps and my phone anymore. Like I remember like traveling when I was younger and like needing a map, and that's not the case. Inventions revolutionized our lives is the wheel. Um, Connection to Mesopotamia right there. So on transportation vehicles, it's really in a lot of inventions. I mean, most of the inventions that you guys brought up, um, you know, are you like the airplane definitely uses a wheel somewhere. It's that's probably the one of the most important inventions. So anyway, I really love these discussion questions. You guys are doing a fantastic job with them. Um, for those of you that watch this, just fair warning, next week I'm giving you a break on thought questions and on the discussion question. So there. So if you got to the end of this video, you have something to look forward to in the sense that you will have less ELA work next year or next week. Okay. So anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic weekend. I think you're all doing such a great job with this work here, and I appreciate it. And I'll see you later.